Well, hello everyone, and happy Friday the 13th. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We have got a little bit of a series going on with this new Edgar Allan Poe deck. I am really enjoying it, and I wanted to share with you some insights about Edgar Allan Poe before your reading. Now, if you're like, I don't give a shit about Edgar Allan Poe, just fast forward to the intro part. I do have timestamps, but I found Edgar Allan Poe really interesting. I had not known much about him. I had no knowledge of him. Edgar Allan Poe's guidebook says, "Welcome to the mysterious and macabre world of Edgar Allan Poe, where all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." Now, Edgar was born in 1809. He was a master storyteller, and Poe can be associated with tarot, as through both the tarot and fiction, we learn more about who we are and what we can become. Tarot reveals our shadow sides, or the hidden realms within us, or the places we need to embrace and shine more light on, bringing up what's buried in our subconscious. So for Friday the 13th, I wanted to transmute the energies of what we normally would consider a scary, fearful, or darker holiday into an opportunity to address our fears hidden deep inside and release them, no longer keeping us bound or in this self-imposed prison. And we do that with our beliefs, our mindsets, with certain people, relationships, situations. And these things need light. They need clarification and allowing us to transmute these energies that keep us stuck, that keep us from growing, that keep us from raising our vibration. Now, Edgar Allan Poe saw a lot of death in his life. He lost his mother to tuberculosis. He lost his foster mother to tuberculosis, and eventually his wife Virginia. He also himself was born in 1809 and only lived to be 40 years old. And through the darkness and the grotesque of what he saw during his life and the challenges, the pain and the suffering that he went through, he learned for that darkness to be his muse, for him to create through the pain. You know, a lot of the best songs ever written were written by artists who were in a low, painful spot in their lives, and Edgar Allan Poe did that. He became creative within the dark energy. What I found interesting is that his mother actually died of TB in Richmond, Virginia. So as we look at Poe and his life, you know, he did not live to be very old. I mean, 40s was pretty old when you're in the times of tuberculosis, which they called Red Death because basically you ended up coughing up blood and choking to death, which is horrible. But before we go on, why are Fridays that fall on a month's 13th day so fearful? Let's tie it into Edgar Allan Poe. You know, we know Friday the 13th is Jason, Freddy Krueger, It, The Blob, aliens, you know, anything that scares the bejesus out of us. Now, Edgar Poe saw so much of it that he embraced it. So, but did you ever wonder where the superstition this dates come from and the mysticism that surrounds it? The unsettling power of the numerals were cemented through Christianity with the story of Jesus' Last Supper and the crucifixion, in which there were 13 individuals present in the upper room on the 13th of Nisan, Monday, which is a Thursday, the night before Jesus' death on Good Friday. So in Christianity, it went down as, you know, that isn't such a lucky day. In Norse or in Viking myth, they follow a very similar version of the Christian version, believing that 13 is an unlucky number because 12 gods or 12 lords in the Viking time were having a dinner party in Valhalla, you know, the afterlife, and the trickster, the god Loki, who was not invited to this party, this dinner, arrived as the 13th guest, and he was only there because he had arranged the assassination of their leader Balder with a mistletoe-tipped arrow. So the Vikings had a very similar superstition about Friday the 13th, but it kind of came from a little bit of a different aspect. Now we got the myth that links Friday the 13th with the fall of the legendary warriors known as the Knights Templar. On a fateful Friday, more than 600 Templars were arrested, brutally tortured, getting confessions from many of their dark activities. Darkness cannot exist in light. So all these perceived bad luck events that we label dark or unlucky, yes, horrible, difficult times. But the one thing that all these things have in common is that they ushered in change. One way or the other, there was transformation and change. And sometimes transformation is ugly. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's suffering. Like Edgar Allan Poe saw, sometimes it was tuberculosis and having your family members die. So during this dark time, instead of labeling something as dark or light, as an energetic being, we're learning to transmute the darkness, transmute and create through those times of darkness. And instead of focusing on the horrible aspects, focus on what comes next. It's always darkest before the dawn. And the meaning of my readings is for us to get past the darkness. If we give hate, fear, energy to the dark things around us, then we're only adding to that, okay? So instead of even looking at Friday the 13th as something dark, let's look at it as an opportunity to transform some of our own fears. And we'll see you at your reading. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right, Leo. Well, we are doing the Telltale Heart Spread for you, the 4 chambers of the heart, 4 energies where we're taking a peek and revealing what energy of passion we see here, or what challenge or fear, what scares the bejesus out of us, identifying, what's stopping you from experiencing passion. Now, this may come up as your energy, or it may come up as an energy surrounding you. Energy is fluid, it's ever changing, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. 4 chambers of the heart. The first card we have for you, your challenge or your fear, and this energy is the 10 of Swords in the reverse. Now, arguably the tarot's most intense image and one of the toughest messages to accept. The 10 of Swords is about sleepless nights and worry and fear and anxiety and, getting stabbed in the back. It's something devastating. It's a loss. Now, in the reverse, this heralds a significant ending and the beginning of a new cycle. This is an energy of someone that is in denial about an ending, in denial that something is over and there will not be a new cycle. Leo, is this you? Or are you going, yeah, I know what energy around me, this makes sense. So let's keep going. I asked the universe what type of ending, and we have got the number 2 card, High Priestess, Major Arcana. Now, she sits on a tomb. She's the keeper of intuition and the subconscious, and we can see that the constellation of your sign, Leo, hangs in the night sky above the High Priestess. So Leo, it's looking like you may be this High Priestess. She sits on the tomb and is flanked by cypress trees, symbolizing mourning, death, the underworld, and spirituality. So this is an energy of being devastated or in denial that something is over with a High Priestess. Now, she reveals mystery and wisdom and revelations and has a divine knowledge. So there has been some type of ending with this High Priestess with a divine feminine. Now, this is energy, not gender, so reverse the roles how they fit for you. But that's what we've got so far. That's the challenge. This is not over with her. That's what this energy is saying. Card number 2, the passion surrounding this energy of someone in denial about a High Priestess. And we've got the 3 of Pentacles. Now, this card can be looked at a couple different ways. It can be looked at as we see 3 divine masculines representing collaboration with a group of buddies or co-workers. So this could be, well, my passion is collaborating with somebody else, a job or a position. This doesn't have to be about love. The High Priestess could represent something that we really wanted, something that we were striving for. The Three of Pentacles is saying that, he cannot do it without the teamwork of these others. And this card contains the power of 3. The other way to look at this passion energy is that it can also represent an exchange of some type of communication, an offering of some kind. In this story, this is on a Jewish wall where 3 divine masculines put down in the basket the scarabs representing, money or abundance, and they try to give an offering. Now the Romans come by, and instead of taking their offering and giving them a blessing, they stick some piece of dead meat in the basket and send it back up, kind of, being cruel to the 3 gentlemen up above. But if we're looking at the passion in regards to being in denial about a high priestess, I don't think the passion is necessarily having to do with other people, or maybe they were focused on another situation. I see this as an exchange of an offering, a peace offering. This is communication of some kind saying, I'd like to collaborate. I don't want this to end. And I clarified it with number 21, another major arcana, and this is the World card. And on this we see a knight, and he's an action taker, and he has this journey in front of him. As he looks over at the full moon ahead, he sees his destination in the castle in the distance. He's headed towards that castle for this new beginning, for harmony. So the passion is about communicating some kind of offer, some kind of exchange, a new beginning of taking action, and it shows a knight having to travel to wherever this high priestess is. So we see a couple different cards of travel. We know that he's got to go somewhere to get to her. So I did one more clarifying card on this passion. I've got the Two of Wands, and this is someone who is absolutely captivated by the behavior of another, and their curiosity just takes over, and they choose to follow or stalk or watch this high priestess for a while. And she seems very, very mysterious to him and really just intrigues him. So he continues to watch, but then something happens because he gets to a point where he's in denial that this is over, and now's making moves, I'm the knight, I've got to go do something. It seems to me at one point that he had the option to walk away, but he couldn't accept this ending with this high priestess, and instead, he chose to watch or monitor her actions from a distance, figure out who she is. I'm not used to this person. She's intuitive, she's mysterious, she knows things she's not supposed to know. Their curiosity was really piqued, and considering all options, he has been dreaming about their future, and it looks like he's soon going to jump on his hardy steed and take the appropriate steps necessary to get to that castle where the high priestess must reside. And this is saying that his planning is imperative, so he's being very strategic, and he has been given an opportunity to have a new beginning, and it seems to me is that he is seizing the opportunity. He's I'm not going to stay in denial that this is over. You have a choice. When something ends, you can fight for it, you can keep going, or you can just, live in denial and be oh, all right, well, it is what it is. We have a choice of how we want to handle certain situations. Lots of things close, lots of things have to end, lots of transformations happen. A new cycle can't begin unless you have an ending to the old one. And a lot of times that's our thought processes or our belief systems, that keep us stuck in these self-imposed prisons. So let's look at card number 3, the catalyst that is driving. We know it's a knight now. We know it's a divine masculine knight energy, not gender. So guys, we've got another major arcana, number 13, the death card. And this is a divine feminine portrait on the card, and death symbolizes transformation, a rebirth, a new beginning, and this is what drives him forward. He feels invincible, and he sees her as invincible, and a new chapter can be written. Life continues after change and transformation. Just like I said, it's a new opportunity, and I clarified this, wanting this new beginning as the catalyst with the Queen of Swords. So he sees her as a Queen of Swords. She's a truth seeker. Again, we've got the moon in one of the cards, and that symbolizes an ability to combine intuition with intellect. So both the High Priestess and the Queen of Swords we have seen are very intellectual, full of wisdom, and very, very tapped into their intuition. And that is what's driving him. His catalyst is, this isn't over. I want a new beginning. Card number 4, path home. How is this knight gonna, knock it in the park? So how does this DM arrive at his intended location, the castle, where this Queen of Swords, the High Priestess, where he wants to have this new beginning? He's planning this future, knowing that the ending or death of something allows a rebirth in hopes of a new beginning. And I've got the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Now look carefully at this card. Again, this is an action taker. We saw the knight on the world card. Now we actually have a knight. He's got a book under his arm. Whatever this book thing is, it's been in so many of my readings. I don't understand it. Tons and tons of imagery in multiple decks about a book. We see cash falling out of his pocket. His cat and his dog stand loyally by. Now the Knight of Pentacles is somebody that's normally slow, methodical, turtle-like process. They're very strategic, ambitious, and hardworking. Now with all that being said, and this is who this character is, it's in the reverse. So his path home is for him stop, number 1, pessimistic about the outcome, and number 2, stop being a perfectionist, thinking everything has got to be perfect. If you keep raising the bar of thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I have to have this in order, I have to have that in order, you're always going to raise that bar so you never reach your goal. That is kind of a defense mechanism, and keeps you in analysis paralysis and decisiveness. You tell yourself you're being thorough, but really you're being so thorough that you don't have any movement because your perfectionism is just out of control. And we all have that. That's a wound that we need to heal. That comes from abandonment. That comes from rejection and self-worth wounding. So we do have a Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, and the universe is saying, the Ten of Swords show he was in denial of an ending. He's working really hard to have a rebirth with this queen who's very intuitive, and the universe is saying get rid of the pessimism and get rid of the perfectionism. The pessimism is him spending too much of his energy focusing on the things that can go wrong rather than the things that can go right. I mean, we see he's making the journey. It's not like it's a consideration anymore, but I think he still has this little dark whisper in his ear that keeps telling him, it's going to fail, you're going to look like a fool, it's not going to work out, you're not going to have this intended ending. Now, if we always thought that way, we would never get anywhere. So stop focusing on doing everything perfect and stop focusing on what can go wrong. Imagine how everything goes perfectly. So we clarified the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse with the Ace of Cups. Now the aces are the energy of power and again, new beginnings. So we had cards in this reading of new beginnings of the Ten of Swords in the reverse, the World, and the Death. We've had how many major arcana? 4 cards resembling a new beginning. So if this is an energy of someone wanting a new beginning, I don't know what is. The path home is manifesting this new beginning. The Ace of Cups is offering in the physical your emotions. This is big love. And again, the full moon shines on the sea. The water represents our emotions. It's just filled with emotions. And we saw that full moon multiple times in this reading. Now, I'm going to put out a reading for October 14th for the solar eclipse. So look for that. But we've had multiple cards about a full moon. Leo. You've showed up in here as the High Priestess with the Leo constellation in the background. Reverse these roles as they fit for you. We've got a Divine Masculine and a Divine Feminine showing up multiple times. 2 characters, energies, not genders. And remember, energy flows and is ever changing. So this is not a prediction of your life. This is just one peek into a possible timeline. All these are just viable peaks of energy, possible scenarios. And in the 4 chambers of the heart, let's just recap, you guys. In Leo, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. This character was challenged by the idea that something has permanently ended. He's in denial. He was refusing to accept the ending to this story. An ending with a High Priestess, possibly you, Leo. This character sees the High Priestess as very intuitive, very mysterious, yet highly knowledgeable about spirituality with a lot of wisdom and a lot of intellect. This energy is passionate about exchanging some type of communication, possibly wanting to make an offer to collaborate. He's traveling to his destination after making the choice to plan out this new beginning, only after he watched and he observed, probably for a while, this High Priestess, captivating him with her mystery. He sees the plan as imperative to having this new beginning. He's wanting a rebirth, and his catalyst is the driving force to take action. He sees her as truthful and loyal, again, again as the moon, the gravitational pull that beckons him. The path home, according to the universe, is to stop being a perfectionist and give up the pessimistic thoughts that are running through your head and offer your cup of love, offer your collaboration with this high priestess, and manifest this new beginning in the physical reality. So Leo, talking about a tale told by the tarot. This was a very interesting little scenario here, and if you enjoyed this, smash that like button. If you claim this reading, put 888 in the comment section that you go, I resonate with this. This sounds familiar. I'm living this, and I hope you guys have a really blessed evening, and thanks for hanging out with me. Peace.